Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Hello everybody! A big thank you to Duchess Pinocchio for this lovely picture of the backyard baptism of Lily. You guys, today was the Commonwealth service. We're going to cover that. We only have a few stories to cover. We're mostly covering the Commonwealth service today, so this is going to be a much shorter than usual video, but still jam-packed with all the information you want. So let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. All right, really quickly, we're going to touch back on the bank collapse. It was reported that all deposits would be available, even the ones that are over and above the insured amount would be available on Monday. But the thing is, in order to save a bank, you have to have it bought out. You have to find another bank to buy it and rescue it and absorb it. And PNC Bank, it looked like it was going to do it, and then they backed out. So there's nobody to buy it. So this ought to be interesting to see what happens. I'll keep an eye on it for you. Next up, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, went with her husband, Sir Tim Lawrence, to the Six Nations rugby match between Scotland and Ireland, March 12th, while in Scotland. I love the scarf. I love the colors. I love Anne. Seriously. Moving on. All right, I just want to touch on this really quickly. I told you about the Aspen Institute. They brought Harry on board. They were trying to silence people because remember, Harry said the First Amendment was bonkers. Well, it looks now that he is not on the board anymore. At least that's what's being reported. He's no longer listed as a member. I will also keep an eye on this story as it develops. Moving on. Next up, King Charles went to the Mountbatten Festival of Music at the Royal Albert Hall. The world-famous band, Mased Band of His Majesty's Royal Marines, played a special opening fanfare dedicated to King Charles called Our King, the Captain General. Very nice. Next up, this post was put up by Steve Hill. He said it was an honor to go to the Gold Ward presentation at St. James Palace as a guest presenter to celebrate the amazing achievements of young people from across the UK who achieved a Gold Duke of Edinburgh award. Very nice that Edward was there, especially now that he is the Duke of Edinburgh. Love it. Next up, I want to thank this Twitter user for putting up that, I told you it's obvious that Meghan did something to her face. Well, this person said they think they had buccal fat removal. That's fat removal from your cheeks. And she put up a couple of examples of people who have had this procedure done. And yeah, that looks like that's what Meghan had done. Very interesting. Moving on. Next up, I just thought this was hilarious. This guy said, "Do you want to get rid of your family? Date me. I'm Meghan Markle." Yeah, more swipes being taken at them. I'm not surprised. All right, I just wanted to touch on this next story. They're saying that The Crown is taping for this year, and they're going to talk about Prince Harry wearing his Nazi uniform. And everybody's going, what? I thought he's in bed with Netflix. Why would Netflix do that? That's terrible. You guys, don't forget that Harry said that wearing the uniform was really William's fault because William didn't talk him out of it. I have a feeling that's what The Crown's going to do. They're going to cover the story, and they're going to put the blame squarely on William. How much you want to bet? Moving on. Next up, the articles are coming out. Harry and Meghan are nowhere to be seen at the Oscars. Why would they be at the Oscars? They haven't done anything to earn an Oscar, and you have to be a winner to give an Oscar. So yeah, no, I don't know why anybody would think they'd be there. And it's because of stuff like that that you see stuff like this. They've gone from being farcical to absolutely pathetic. The United States sees them as being absolutely pathetic. Yep. All right, let's move on to good stuff now. It was the first Commonwealth Day service since the Queen passed away. I think people were really just, gearing up to see what today was going to bring. Now, the Commonwealth, as you know, is a voluntary association of 56 independent and equally sovereign states. You don't have to join. It's completely voluntary. And the theme for today's Commonwealth service was forging a sustainable and peaceful common future. I love that. We had several new people who joined the Commonwealth. They were very welcome. So it was the first Commonwealth Day service, and of course you know that Charles was going to break with tradition, because Charles, this is his reign, and he's going to do things his way to, let people know this is his thing. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, he showed up. Camilla looked absolutely ravishing in this blue outfit that she was wearing. It was a good choice for her. They looked very happy together. Next to arrive after the king and Camilla was William and Catherine. I love the outfit. I'm not loving the hat. I'm not sure why, but I did love her hair. I mean, this is just absolutely gorgeous. So when she and Camilla got out of the cars, they both had to hang on to their hats. It was very windy and blustery. Their skirts were being pushed up. Camilla's got some nice looking legs there, I might say. Just pointing it out. And with it being so windy, she made a beeline for the front door. As a matter of fact, all the royals made a beeline straight for the front door. They usually go a little bit slower outside, but it was very cold and blustery, so I was told. Then, of course, Princess Anne showed up, and her green coat and hat was recycled from several years earlier. She looked absolutely amazing. Her husband was with her, as he always is. And they entered the church and greeted the clergy. Then next up, Secret Weapon Sophie showed up. The new Duchess of Edinburgh showed up with her husband. I loved her outfit. That hat reminded me of Jackie Onassis. I'm sure you guys remember the pillbox hat. She looked lovely. Now, when they all got inside and they greeted each other, everybody took note of the fact that Catherine did not curtsy to King Charles. And supposedly this is royal protocol. So everybody was very confused because, when she greets him, she always curtsy. Well, apparently the rule is you only have to do that the first time you see them each day. So if Catherine saw Charles earlier in the day and curtsied to him then, she wouldn't have had to do it at the church. Okay, that makes sense. Now, while they were all standing around talking before they sat down, a lot of fans noticed the exchange between King Charles and Duchess Sophie. They had a lot of bantering going back and forth, and at one point, Sophie bumped Charles with her shoulder. They did a shoulder bump. It was very cute. And it should be noted that when the programs came out, their old titles, the Earl and Countess of Wessex were still on the programs. Apparently, the programs were printed before the announcement was made about the title change. Simple mistake, no biggie. You guys know they started with the procession of the Commonwealth member flags. There were musical performances. There was a saxophonist. There were West End stars, Roshani Abbey and Hugh Pereira. I hope I'm saying that correctly. There was the all-female choir from Cyprus. There was a lot of different things going on there. But this was my favorite. Rwanda's National Ballet. They started all the way at the entrance of the Abbey, and they danced their way all the way up the aisle. They were absolutely fabulous, and you could tell that the royal family was really enjoying the performance. Gorgeous. I love the outfits too. And then after that, it became time for King Charles to stand up on the dais and give his first Commonwealth Day speech. He basically paid tribute to his late mother. He said, and I'm quoting, that he draws great strength from her example, together with all that he'd learned from the extraordinary people he has met throughout the Commonwealth over so many years. And he said, the Commonwealth has been a constant in my own life, and yet its diversity continues to amaze and inspire me. It really was a touching speech. You could see the emotion on William and Catherine's faces, and Sophie's too. I think everybody really misses the Queen. This is a very poignant moment. So then Charles came back down. He's, went back to his area. And the service continued, and they saw some other acts, some other things went on, and then of course they stood up and sang "God Save the King." And then after that, it was time to walk back down the aisle towards the end of the church. Of course, they had the children at the opening there to hand off the obligatory gorgeous flowers to the ladies as they come out. Catherine and William stood and spoke with the clergy before they made their way out the door and down towards their cars. They looked very happy and very relaxed, which is, when you compare and contrast to what happened, during Harry and Meghan's last Commonwealth service, I'm sure this was quite refreshing for them. Of course, it was still windy. Catherine held on to her hat so it wouldn't get blown off, and they made their way down the walkway to the vehicles that were waiting for them. Now, I would like to point out really quickly, this was Catherine Middleton's first Commonwealth Day as the Princess of Wales, and she was wearing a feathers brooch, which was a gift from King Charles. Very nice. Looking stylish, but I'm still not crazy about that hat. Okay, after Catherine came Sophie. Well, I'm not sure if they came in this exact order. They might have come out in a different order, but I'm loving the fact that she is now a duchess and that Edward is a duke. I'm sure they got plenty of congratulations as they were leaving the church from the clergy. Again, she was handed some absolutely gorgeous flowers. They made their way down. They made a point of stopping to talk to the kids. This is the choir, and I'm pretty sure William and Catherine stopped as well. I just don't have any pictures of it. And they made their way down to their vehicle. I'm really very happy for her and very happy for Edward. I think everybody is, sincerely. I still like to call her secret weapon Sophie. All right, now at some point before or after, here comes Anne, and she also had her beautiful bouquet of flowers. Then, of course, Charles and Camilla left the church. They also had a beautiful bouquet of flowers. They also stopped to talk to the children, which I think was super, super nice. Now, Evans Einstein wrote this, and it really got me. It says that Baroness Benjamin gave HRH, the Prince of Wales, motherly words of wisdom and love, and you can see the love in her eyes and the support, the motherly hand on Prince William's shoulder, and it is a moment that would have had me in tears. And you got to look at William. He's just soaking it up, you know what I'm saying? Because he can feel it. And let me just remind you what happened at the last Commonwealth service at the end when Harry and Meghan were there. Remember this? They scooched through the chairs as quickly as possible so that they wouldn't have to be behind Sophie and Edward. Though I'd like to point out, I've seen this article and I completely agree. I think Diana would be more than just unhappy with Prince Harry's attacks on William. I think she'd be horrified by his behavior. She expected Harry to be William's wingman and help him be king and support him in his role. If she were alive today to see the constant attacks that he and Meghan have taken on the entire royal family, and as I showed you in yesterday's video, the way they've tried to overshadow a lot of events, I think she would be very unhappy and upset. Now, it's because of stuff like that when I see stories like this, I'm like, are you kidding? They're putting out now that Princess Diana's sisters are in Harry and Meghan's corner. I'm like, what corner? There is still no proof that anybody has been able to show that Diana's sisters flew all the way to California for what they call an intimate ceremony. Intimate meaning there was hardly anybody there. That's what it really means. And it's being said that that was done because the Spencers want to make sure that Diana's legacy is not forgotten as we approach the coronation. No, that's not true. Now, I'm not going to give out names, but I just want to say thank you to the subscriber who sent me the 2 newspapers that came out the day before Princess Margaret's wedding and the day of. I want you to know I've already taken them in, and they're currently being mounted and framed, and they're going to go on the office wall at the new house. Thank you so much. I love them. Now, another subscriber of mine wrote something to me very interesting. Remember this picture from my other video that shows Meghan's feet? Well, she said when she saw it, it reminded her of the movie, The Eye of Sinbad. Oh my gosh, that was one of my favorite movies from years ago. Love it. And yes, I agree. It reminds me of the same. All right, you guys, leave those comments below. I mean, we all know how happy Harry is. He couldn't be any happier than if he was a pig rolling around in the dirt. Leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to double check if you've already hit the button to make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget to go up into the description box where you'll find links to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, the actual physical address if there's something you want to send me. And for those of you who've donated to my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.